Y'all, if you haven't heard already, the real estate market in Georgia is rough. About a month ago, I made a video talking about just that. Is the real estate market in Georgia going to crash in 2021? We talked about how buyers are offering thousands of dollars over asking price, waiving appraisals, contingencies, and sellers are receiving dozens of offers on every property, and that video got a lot of feedback. I had comments from people who were saying that only offering $10,000 to $20,000 over asking price sounded like a bargain, and that in their region of the world, people were having to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking. Another person commented that they didn't even think that the whole highest and best bidding situation was fair. And I thought we could talk about that and a few of these points and whether or not you should give up trying to buy a home in Georgia. And by the way, I started that video with the word y'all. My recent Florida transplants from here in Georgia made so much fun of that comment, and we were having a bet about how long it would take for them to start using the word y'all in their everyday lexicon. So one of the first comments that I got was, wow, only $20,000 over asking. Here in Sydney, Australia, it is $100,000 to $200,000. Now, this is also true in other states as well in the United States. I recently saw a video by a real estate agent saying that in his area in Texas, there were agents who had put in over 20 offers on homes that were over $100,000 over that asking price, and they did not win their offer until they put in their 25th or 26th offer. Could you imagine having to put in that many offers? It's absolute madness. Gosh, that's gotta feel so defeating for a buyer, and it's something personally that I have experienced. Thankfully, I have not reached that 25th or 26th offer or even close. I just can't imagine how it must feel to be a buyer right now. It might sound like a consolation prize if you are a buyer, but you're not going to have to offer that much over asking here in Georgia, at least not in my experience. Now, I'm not saying that it's never happened here, but it's not the norm, especially if you're looking at homes between the $200,000 and $600,000 price range. Don't make any mistake, they are going for over asking price, but not by hundreds and thousands of dollars. So another consolation prize is that lately in our listing system that we as real estate agents use to search for homes for our clients, I have seen more and more notes in the descriptions of homes saying things like cash is not always king, or my seller's main focus is not just profit. So, agents are also getting very sick and tired of this market. If you think that agents are enjoying it, I have news for you. It is not fun right now to work in this market. It's incredibly tough. It's very hard, and we are having to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard to get buyers under contract and also to find sellers that are willing to sell their homes. Agents are also getting sick and tired of having to compete against 20 offers over asking and having to say that we won't have a due diligence period, we'll cover the appraisal gap, and on and on and on and on. What's most important for some sellers right now is just ensuring the smoothest transaction, and that's what agents want for their clients. Some sellers might need to stay in their house after closing date for a week or two while they finish things up, getting ready for their new house or preparing for the move. Or they might want to just use a specific closing attorney because they worked with them before. Or they may want to sell the home as is for a more appropriate price instead of accepting an offer over $50,000 and having to do a bunch of repairs during the inspection period. So you need an agent that will call and find out what is most important to the seller, who will write an offer based on the seller's preferred terms instead of just trying to throw extra money at them and hoping that that's going to seal the deal. So I recently called an agent to do just that, to find out what was most important to their seller. And she would only say this: for the respect of all parties, we just want your best offer. And I said, okay, well, obviously, outside of price, what is important to your seller? Do they want a specific closing date? Do they want to stay in the home after closing to, pack up their things? And this agent would just keep repeating that phrase. In the respect of all parties, we just want your best offer. And I was getting nowhere with this agent. Finally, I said, okay, got it, thanks, and hung up the phone. Now, to me, that's just crazy. This is the opposite of respectful for a couple of reasons. If you know that there are certain things that are important to your sellers, wouldn't you want the offers to reflect that, to give your seller the very best experience and what they really want? Now, if she would have said, my clients want to stay in the house for 45 days after closing and are only interested in cash, I would have been able to talk with my buyers and say, hey, this does not sound like a good fit for you since you would prefer that we need to be in the home as soon as possible, and wanting to take advantage of the awesome interest rates and get you into the home. We also could have said that's perfect. We have a flexible time frame and are cash buyers. Instead, we have no idea what the sellers are looking for, so we would put in any offer not having any idea if we were even a suitable buyer for this seller. And my buyers would get their hopes up, yet not really knowing if they have even a shot at getting this house. Now, obviously, there are sellers that just want the most amount of money possible and don't care about the offer details, and that's just fine. Then the agent can say, we don't care about the smaller details, just make us your very best offer. And we can do just that. All that being said, not everything is a multiple offer situation, and not everyone is putting in offers way beyond asking price. And people are accepting offers for the same price of the home that it just listed for. But I will say that is more rare in this market. You have to have an agent that can appropriately gauge the situation, and you have to want to know what you want and what you are willing to spend. You also have to trust your gut and trust your agent. Trust the advice that comes along with your agent. Now, I recently had a prospective buyer text me and say, hey, we're going to be down in the area in a few weeks. Let's see what deals are on the market. Deals. Y'all, I wish I could find a deal. There are no deals out there right now. You have to change your perspective. When you say that you're looking for a deal, factor in the interest rates that you are getting right now. It is at an all-time record low. This is a deal. The interest rate is the deal. The house price? Not so much. But imagine if that house price falls by $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 next year, but your interest rate rises a point, and this is a home that you're going to stay in for a long period of time. Well, is that really a deal? No. Do not focus right now on the deal. Focus on the interest rate and trust the advice of your agent that you're working with. Especially, when you've done that research to find a really good one, you need to trust that they know what they're doing in this market. When it comes to not thinking that calling for the highest and best offers by a certain point in time is not fair, like the previous comment says, you have to think about homes that are getting multiple offers. If an agent received 10 offers on a house and went back to each and every one and tried to counter based on what the other offer put forward, y'all, that's just a complete nightmare, and you would spend days trying to negotiate and get everyone their final say. Just cut to the chase. If you're a very serious buyer about a property, put in the strongest offer that you feel comfortable with, and you just got to simply wait for that seller to make the decision. And if you aren't serious about the house and you're not willing to pay over asking price, just keep moving along. With the speed things are moving in this market, you can't just dabble. You have to be willing and ready to make a move when you find the right house and when that right house comes along. If you're just a casual buyer right now in this market, I hate to break it to you, but this is not the market to be in right now if you're not very serious about purchasing a home. Obviously, in the past, you would see a home for sale, you would come up with an offer and the seller would accept it or counter it. Occasionally that process is still happening, but you cannot counter every single offer that comes in, which is why agents call for the highest and best, because they know that they are getting 10, 20, sometimes 30 offers for a really great house. This shouldn't deter you from trying to buy a house in Georgia. It should give you a more accurate expectation on how this process works. I feel very strongly that buyers right now have to be educated and know what to expect in this process, because there's nothing worse than feeling what you think is a really great offer and submitting that, come to find out you're up against 15 other offers and they went $20,000, $30,000 over asking with an appraisal gap. Your agent, again, should be educating you about what the real estate market is like and talking to you about what the expectations are and what you're comfortable with. So one of the good things is that as the school year is wrapping up, more people are getting ready to sell their homes, and we are seeing more inventory on the market, which means more opportunities to find the perfect house. In fact, within the last 24 hours of recording this video, in the Atlanta metro area, we had over 700 new listings added to the listing service, and as an agent working with buyers all the time, this is fantastic news. And again, this is the time of year that we see that listings are starting to pick up, because a lot of people wait until the end of the school year so that the school year doesn't, disturb their kids moving in the middle of the school year. How many times can I say school year? We are also seeing an increase in building again. Now, builders know that the demand is there, so they are rolling on despite the increase in lumber costs. However, you got to know that with new construction right now, obviously it takes, 5-6 months to build a house. So, you got to be patient with that. If you have the patience to wait for a new construction home, that may be the route to go, because you know that you're going to get a house and you're not having to compete against 10 or 15 other offers on a resale home. There are so many new construction neighborhoods currently being built in Gainesville and the surrounding areas, all across Metro Atlanta. You have to go ahead and get that contract started so that they can break ground and start that home. The great thing about the new construction home is that you know you have a finished date of that home, so it makes planning an out-of-state move perfect. So enough ranting about the market. Is this still a good time to buy a home in Georgia? Y'all, it is a great time to buy a home in Georgia. We have a lot of people moving into the area, relative from where you're coming from. Homes in Georgia could still be a really great deal. Interest rates are so low. You need to take advantage of the market now rather than waiting. Prices are still going to continue to appreciate. Interest rates are going to go up, which is going to make that home even more expensive in the future. No matter when you buy, over the long term, you're going to gain equity in your home, and waiting another year to do so is just another year that you aren't earning money in equity. And in fact, it's just another year of throwing money away, especially if you're renting. I don't think you should have to hang up the towel and quit trying to buy a home. It is a great time. Find a really great real estate agent that will help you find your Georgia home. I'm Sarah Maslowski with KeyPoint Homes by Sarah, the key to a great real estate experience.